Welcome back to the Hard Knocks podcast. Week 2, we saw some serious shakeups, and we're going to dive into those biggest storylines.
Yeah.
Check out the must-watch games for next week, and give you the inside scoop on those rookies you need to know.
Yeah. We had some surprising upsets, and honestly, some teams are looking pretty shaky heading into week 3.
Let's unpack this. First up, the Tampa Bay Pirates. They shut down the Atlanta Hawks defensive end. Daniel Pruitt was an absolute monster with 5 sacks.
5 sacks.
Did you see that coming? Because I sure didn't.
Pruitt was definitely a standout, but it wasn't just him. The entire Pirates defense is looking like a wall, only letting in 11 points against the Hawks. I think they're leading the league in fewest points allowed.
Wow.
You were right to be worried about the Hawks offense. Looks like the Pirates are a serious threat this year.
And then there's the Kansas City natives completely crushing the Denver Stallions quarterback. Ryan Tate threw 5 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
They're averaging over 40 points a game.
Yeah.
Anyone going to be able to stop this offensive machine? Yeah.
That's the million-dollar question. Right now, they're the team to beat in the Red West.
For sure.
The Stallions, on the other hand, they've only scored 19 points in 2 games.
Oof, that's rough. At least the Los Angeles Rhinos bounced back from their Week 1 loss, crushing the Arizona Roadrunners 41-11. Quarterback Shane Fowler had a great game with 4 touchdowns.
The Rhinos needed that win. But the bigger question is, are the Roadrunners as bad as their 0-2 record suggests? Their offense isn't completely inept, but their defense is letting in way too many points. If they want to be competitive, they need to fix that fast.
Okay, but here's a game that probably had you on the edge of your seat. Philadelphia Tyrants versus the Washington Bandits. Went into overtime, Bandits won.
Yeah.
But honestly, Tyrants running back DeAndre Sanders stole the show, 175 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. What does this performance mean for the Tyrants' strategy going forward?
Oh, that was a monster game from Sanders. It really shows you what he's capable of. I think this could force the Tyrants to lean into the run game more and really capitalize on his strengths. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt in the coming weeks.
Speaking of adapting, let's look at the must-watch games for Week 3. First up, the undefeated Tampa Bay Pirates are going head-to-head with the New Orleans Boars. Also 2-0. Can the Pirates keep their winning streak alive against another powerhouse team?
That's going to be a battle. The key matchup to watch here is the Pirates' defensive line against the Boars' offensive line. If the Pirates can pressure the Boars' quarterback, they have a shot. But the Boars have a strong run game that could give the Pirates trouble. Don't be surprised if this one goes down to the wire.
Then there's the Kansas City natives trying to keep their streak going against the Las Vegas Vigilantes. What kind of defensive strategy could potentially disrupt Tate's rhythm? Do the Vigilantes even have the personnel to pull that off?
Honestly, the Vigilantes have a decent defense, but they haven't faced an offense as strong as the natives. This is a huge test for them. The best they can hope for is to contain Tate and force the natives to rely on other players.
And lastly, we have the 0-2 Arizona Roadrunners facing off against the Seattle Kings, also 0-2. You mentioned you're a Kings fan, so is this their chance to turn things around?
I hope so, but honestly, I'm worried. It's a must-win for both teams, but the Roadrunners do have some offensive weapons. And the Kings, their offensive line is giving me nightmares. They haven't given their quarterback any time to make plays.
So if you had to pick one thing for our listener to watch for in this game, what would it be? What could give us a clue about whether the Kings have a fighting chance?
Keep your eye on the Kings' offensive line. If they can buy their quarterback even a few extra seconds, that might be enough to spark their playmakers. If not, well, it could be another long Sunday. And potentially a long season.
Let's shift gears and talk about the rookie draft class. We know you love digging into these up-and-coming players. So what are we looking at this year? Who are the names you're excited about?
This is a strong rookie class, there's no doubt about it. At the top of everyone's list is Blake Bradford, a safety out of Washington. Incredible athlete, great instincts, a real ball hawk.
He's the one everyone's calling a sure thing, right? But are there any potential weaknesses to watch out for? You know, things our listeners should be paying attention to as the season progresses.
He's definitely got the talent, but you'll want to see how he adapts to pro-level offensive schemes. The game is faster, more complex. If he can read plays quickly at this level, he could be a game changer for any team that needs a solid safety.
All right, so Blake Bradford is the name at the top of the draft boards. Who else should our listener have on their radar?
Well, you've got Chris Lawson, a cornerback out of the Missouri Lions. He's got incredible speed and agility. And then there's Geno Kidd, a tackle from the Florida Manatees. This guy is a beast, massive and powerful.
So we've got a potential shutdown corner and a dominant tackle. Sounds like some teams are going to be very happy come draft day. What about those diamonds in the rough, though? Any players flying under the radar who you think could surprise us?
Absolutely. Keep an eye on Ronald Vance, a wide receiver from Mississippi State. He's a speedster, great hands. And then there's Edward Anderson, a tight end from Alabama. Big body, can block, can catch.
All right, so if you're a general manager in this league, what are you looking for in this draft class? Which teams need defensive help? Who needs to boost their offense? And what do you see these guys fitting in?
Well, let's start with the teams that need help on defense. The Arizona Roadrunners are at the top of that list. They're currently ranked last in the league in points allowed. A player like Blake Bradfoot could be a huge difference maker for them.
Makes sense. He's the kind of player who can come in and make an immediate impact. What about teams that need a little more firepower on offense?
The Seattle Kings are desperate for offensive help. They've struggled to score points all season. Someone like Ronald Vance could give them the deep threat they're lacking. Imagine him burning past your team's secondary for a game-winning touchdown. That's the kind of impact he could have.
That would definitely be a game changer for the Kings and for you as a fan. But what about teams that are already doing well? Are there any rookies who could make an already strong team even better?
Sure, even the best teams can improve. Take the Kansas City Natives, for example. They're a powerhouse, but Geno Kidd could make their offensive line even more formidable.
It sounds like this draft class has the potential to shake things up across the league. Do you see any of these rookies making an immediate impact on the playoff picture? Could we see a rookie quarterback come in and lead a team on a surprise playoff run?
It's not out of the question. It's happened before. With the talent in this draft class, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few rookies playing key roles on playoff teams. It's going to be exciting to watch their careers unfold.
And speaking of exciting points, we've got some intriguing storylines already developing this season. The Tampa Bay Pirates and the Kansas City Natives are both undefeated and look like the teams to beat. What are your thoughts on their performance so far?
They've been dominant, but it's early in the season. There's a lot of football left to be played, and there are other contenders out there.
Right, like the New Orleans Boars, also undefeated. Could they be the team to knock off the Pirates or the Natives?
They've got the talent to do it. Their roster is stacked. And we can't forget about the Washington Bandits. They're 2-0 with a stifling defense. They could be a dark horse in the NFC.
So many possibilities, so early in the season. It's really anyone's game right now. But with the rookie draft coming up, we're about to see a whole new wave of talent enter the league. How do you think these rookies will shake things up?
It's always fascinating to see how rookies adapt to the pro game. Some will make an immediate impact, others will need time to develop. But one thing's for sure, this draft class has the potential to change the landscape of the league. It's going to be fun to watch it all unfold.
Speaking of unfolding, let's talk about the draft itself. What should our listener be looking for as the draft approaches? Any specific teams or storylines to keep an eye on?
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see how the teams at the top of the draft prioritize their needs. Do they go for the best player available, or do they target a specific position? And then there are always those mid to late round picks that turn out to be steals. The guys who fly under the radar but end up having great careers.
You know, those are the stories I love. The underdog who comes out of nowhere and becomes a star. It makes you wonder which of these rookies might be those future stars, the guys who will be leading their teams for years to come. It is exciting to think about all their potential, and how these young players might shape the future of the league.
Yeah.
It's like you said earlier, this draft class is packed with talent.
It really is. And I think it's important to remember that not every highly touted rookie is going to have an immediate impact. It takes time to adjust to the speed and the complexity of the professional game.
Right, some players might need a year or two to develop before they really hit their stride.
Exactly. But then you have those rookies who come in and just light things up from day one. The guys who make you think, wow, this kid is special.
Ones who have that it factor, that ability to change the game.
Absolutely. And with the level of talent in this draft class, I'm sure we're going to see some incredible things from these young players.
All right, before we wrap things up, any final thoughts for our listener? Any parting advice as we head into the draft and the rest of the season?
Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
This is shaping up to be one of the most exciting and unpredictable seasons in recent memory. And with this talented rookie class about to enter the league, who knows what's going to happen.
Well said. Thanks for breaking it all down for us.
My pleasure.
And to our listener, thanks for listening. And remember, knock that subscribe button hard.